Hello humans and welcome back to Hoogs Eats. Today we are making one of my favorites, fish tacos. We are making our tacos with Mahi Mahi, a flaky, mild, and slightly sweet fish which will be the perfect vessel for our flavors. We are starting by giving our fish a good sprinkling of salt and pepper, giving the fish a flip, and continuing on the opposite side. Now we are going to get our fish marinating to lock in some flavor. We are combining 2 tablespoons olive oil, juice from 1 lime, 1.5 tablespoons chili powder, 1 teaspoon cumin, 1 teaspoon paprika, half a teaspoon garlic powder, half a teaspoon onion powder, half a teaspoon red cayenne, and 3 cloves of garlic minced. Give that mixture a good spoon spin until combined, then load our fish into a Ziploc bag and pour in the marinade. Seal the bag and give the fish a good rubbing, not in a weird way, just in a way that gets the fish fully coated. Once complete, we are placing the fish in the fridge for a minimum time of 30 minutes. Next, we are talking about toppings. First, I'm roughly chopping some purple cabbage, and I do mean roughly, then placing in a bowl. Finally, chop some cilantro, half of an onion getting diced, slice a couple lime wedges, and finally, crack open a beer because you're cooking and you deserve it. If you haven't been to La Victoria's in San Jose, then it's probably true that you haven't heard of their famous orange sauce. I recently had this sauce and it was sauce honey heaven for my taste buds. Courtesy of Brandy from Cocoa and Salt, we have a copycat recipe that is so close to the original that I had to make it for this video. We are starting with a whole white onion and what should have been 4 Roma tomatoes but turned into 1 large tomato because it's all I had. Cutting up into large chunks and broiling for about 10 minutes. Next up, it's time for our dried chilies to join the party. Today we have 2 chilies we are going to use, about a half a cup of pressed arbol chilies, followed by about 2 guajillo chilies. We are then going to roll the skin loose of 4 garlic cloves and give them a little chopping. Set your pan to about a medium-high heat and add about a tablespoon of olive oil, followed by our garlic simmering for a few minutes. Then, in go the chilies. Make sure to give them a good shake and the occasional stir. After about 5 minutes, we are transferring to our blender and adding about 1/3 cup apple cider vinegar and a half cup of water, letting them soak for about 5 minutes. After you have patiently waited, give the mixture a blend on high for about 20 seconds. Then, set the blender to low, and we are slowly going to add a cup of vegetable oil to our mixture so that our sauce can emulsify, kind of like an eggless aioli. Add the oil too quickly, your sauce will separate and seem over oily. With one last step, we are adding our onions and tomatoes and blending until it's completely incorporated. Don't forget to add about 1.5 tablespoons of salt. Pour the sauce into the largest mason jar you own and place in the fridge and allow to fully cool down. Next on the long list of things to do, it's time to make some homemade corn tortillas. Into a bowl we are adding about 2 cups of masa harina. Masa harina is a corn flour that was initially soaked in lime water during production, and it makes some delicious tortillas. Now make a little hole in the flour and pour in about 1.5 cups of warm water, giving it a stir and letting it rest for about 5 minutes. Next, we are dumping onto a cutting board so hard that our camera shakes and giving our dough a good kneading, working the dough for about 5 to 10 minutes until it becomes solid and smooth. We are then breaking off a piece and rolling into a ball about the size of a golf ball, then pressing between 2 squares cut out of a Ziploc bag on our tortilla press. If you don't have a tortilla press, you can use 2 plates, but I promise it won't come out the same. I'll put a link in the description for the one I have below. Now to cook these bad boys, I basically followed the direction on the back of the masa harina, and I think I got a pretty good system going. We're going to cook the tortillas for about 30 seconds on each side, flipping twice. Then pull them off and place them between some pieces of paper towels. Now it's time to cook some marinated mahi mahi. First, we are patting the fish dry. This will help develop a good crust on the outside. These fillets are a little bit thicker, so we are going to be doing a reverse sear. Reverse sear is when you sear the outside of a protein very quickly to develop a crust, then you finish the protein at a lower temp in the oven so it can cook evenly. Now we're going to place the fish in a pan with some olive oil that is almost so hot that it's smoking. so we can get a nice sear. After about a minute or so, give it a flip and sear the opposite side. Then remove to an oiled baking sheet. Next, the fish is going into the oven at about 225 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 12 minutes. But first, I'm going to probe our sea fillets with a thermometer because we want to make sure these cook up to about 137 degrees. Now we have arrived at the finale. It's time to assemble these tacos. This fish is going to be so, dare I say it, yes I dare, moist, and also very flaky. Using just a fork, we are going to flake our fish. Grab 3 taco vehicles, or tortillas as most people call them, and top with our mahi. Next we are grabbing our other toppings, first some purple cabbage, and then some onions, fresh cilantro, some lime juice, and finally our famous orange sauce. I'll tell you this, these tacos were so flavorful and the balanced textures really made this dish worth the process. I definitely recommend you guys give it a try. Thanks again folks for watching Hoogs Eats. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and give me a share if you like.